Hey, folks, welcome to Armchair Discussions here on location. Mike Lopez, ACMike, better known as. We're here on the eve of the 4th of July. Beautiful day outside with the City of Atlantic City Mayor Marty Small. Marty, welcome to the Armchair Conversations.
All right, thanks, ACMike. I appreciate the opportunity to be on the Armchair Conversations. And it's a great day here in the city of Atlantic City.
It always is, and I love when you say that. And just to touch on that, just calling the city, talking to people, that 5400 number, the way everyone answers the phone, that's a big change in the city. Yes. And small things make, no pun intended.
A small plan makes a big difference.
There you go.
No, you set yourself up for that.
I sure did, and you know what? Take advantage of it anytime. So Mayor, again, we're a beautiful morning, just coming from actually a ribbon cutting of the reopening of Caesars. City's opening back up with precautions, of course, and the right restraints and protocol. We have a couple things going on from, the celebration, which it is. Always a big day in Atlantic City, the 4th of July weekend. I guess times 5 with what's going on the past 3.5 months. And, we have a couple things happening as far as a protest arising probably tomorrow. We're going to ask where that stands and then where you see as far as the city opening up completely. But let's touch on the first part.
Well, as you know, there's a planned protest. We knew this for a while. It just got heightened last week when, he went on the radio. So, we were prepared. Last Friday, I reached out to Mr. Young. We met for over an hour to establish some common ground and some of the tables that he's previously never been at. He wanted meetings with, different organizations. Worked hard over the weekend. Had to do some convincing for quite a few people to even take the meeting. Then that precipitated us to have the meeting the other day. Immediately when I was about to give the reason that all of us were gathered, he immediately said, well, let's establish some action items in this. And I just respectfully said, you're not running this meeting. I set this meeting up. You're going to have more than your opportunity to speak. And then the professionals gathered around the table, started to introduce themselves. We had Atlantic Care in the room. We had Creed in the room. We had the Atlantic City Chamber of Commerce in the room. And we had the Casino Association of New Jersey in the room. Ernest Coursey, my chief of staff, and Bruce Weeks, my director of constituent services. And after everyone introduced themselves, he looked at me and said, okay, you can leave now. You can get out. And I was just flabbergasted.
So let me get this right. He's telling you he wants people to be at the table. He wants to be at the table. And when you get this all set up, and I'm sure probably, and I'm just taking an educated guess, probably tough to get some of those folks at the table to discuss. He dismisses you once it's getting started. Yes. The mayor of Atlantic City.
Yes. And, he said it a couple times, and I said, you're not in charge. And one of his people said, well, you're not in charge either. And he got out of the room and walked out. And as they say, the rest is history. And listen, you don't have to respect, me or, even like my political views, but have some decency and respect for the office. I just happened to occupy the office, and I did something for him that has never been done before. I got him to the table to present his ideas and platform. Let's just cut to the chase. This wasn't anything about George Floyd. This wasn't anything about Black Lives Matter. I'm a black man. I hurt when I see what's going on through the world. When it comes to senseless killings of African American and sometimes justice is not done. I get it. We all seen that play out in broad daylight on camera. It was disastrous. But it's a way that you handle things in decency and order. We're not against protests. I marched in both marches. But to have someone come here and destroy property, kill our businesses, and we're already struggling through the pandemic, that's not going to be acceptable. And whatever decision him and his organization choose to make, at that point it will be a police matter, and they'll be dealt with. But we're taking the necessary steps. This administration isn't going to be bullied. We're not going to let anyone embarrass this city, let alone Steve Young. And we took the proper steps legally to remove him from the planning board, which ironically he's the chairman, and the civilian advisory board of the police department. And that will be a process by statute, and we will follow through with that and get him removed from both of those boards.
And to your point, here at the Armchair Discussions, Conversations, we had him come in and we talked and gave him a platform, and he spoke about the agenda and wanting to sit at the table. And lo and behold, the next day, I believe, or the following day, no due to our interview, that you had this in the works already. And, a couple of times he called in. I heard the radio show, the Harry Hurley show, and made some discussions and actually didn't get to complete what he was saying when a question was asked for of Steve. And the discussion is supposed to be on George Floyd, like you said. And I think in Black Lives Matter, but a lot of it gets lost when there's riots. There's the double talking of, I would say, window shopping and that sort of thing. And, we're going to shut the city down. I mean, I don't think that can be said. And then the 4th of July. So you gave them that opportunity. You gave the group the opportunity to sit and talk. And again, I want to get this straight. Got up and left, after felt being disrespected. Not just you, probably the whole table, I would take.
I mean, as I stated, these are people who didn't want to come to the table and at my urging decided to attend the meeting. I mean, how responsible can one get? And you can say peaceful protest. The last protest initially was peaceful. And when some of our family members, people that we love nearly and dearly throughout Atlantic City, who haven't had a paycheck in over 3 months, particularly dealing with these, the slow pace of unemployment, this is their opportunity to get back to work. And everybody's not getting back to work because it's a 25% capacity. So there's still people that are not out there working. You have Tanga outlets and other businesses in Atlantic City who are just trying to get back open, dealing with insurance claims, dealing with everything else. Some people have boards up, some people don't. Some people have just, taken the boards down, getting ready for a big 4th of July weekend. And then this guy is going to say that he's going to, quote, shut the city down. I mean, we can't have that. It's not about Steve Young. This is about what's best for the great city of Atlantic City. And it's my job as the mayor to protect the health, safety, and welfare of all Atlantic City residents, businesses, tourists, whomever. I can just say this without divulging any information. Every law enforcement agency under the sun is in town.
Right. So that being said, we'll shift gears in a second. When he's saying, I want to negotiate, is it a negotiation or demands? I mean, there is a difference. We come to the table, whether it's a union discussion, and I'm sure you hear plenty of them being the mayor, or it's just making demands that are unreasonable. Let us inside on that a little bit.
I mean, I would call it a shakedown. It's not a demand or a negotiation. And a lot of it was unreasonable. I'll give you one. As hard as I've been fighting as a council person, and I've been fighting as the mayor to get us those magical taxes back, the luxury, the room, the parking, he says one of the things that if they don't do it by the 4th of July, they can leave something here like, Steve, we fought that fight. And then when he talks about, we discovered a law with the medical marijuana dispensaries that will be in Atlantic City, they have to donate 2% of the proceeds back to the city. That's a law. So as hard as the taxpayers are working, as much as we've been asking for an additional revenue stream, he says give the 2%, take from the Atlantic City taxpayers and give the 2% to Black Men United. I mean, that's just unreasonable. Once again, I'm a black man, but I'm not only the mayor of the black community, I'm the mayor of the whole city. And now is not the time to divide. And listen, I get it. I get the Black Lives Matter movement. There has been injustices, but we have to stand strong. Myself or my administration, are not going to be bullied. No one is going to dictate to us what to do. We're going to be governed. We're going to govern based on what's best for the city of Atlantic City. And that's what we've been doing. Today, ironically, the last 9 months. Today actually is my 9th month anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
As mayor.
Yep.
And hopefully, after Tuesday I can continue because we've done a great job under incredibly difficult circumstances, one crisis after another, but we standing here stronger than ever. And more importantly, we have a plan.
And Mayor Small, to your point about the Black Lives Matter movement, and that's what we're trying to do here too, communicate and then put stuff into action. I mean, I don't want to say I get it, but I understand it. I get it, and that it's real. There's real issues. There's
Absolutely.
real situations that happen in people's lives. I discussed a little bit with my mom and dad coming from Puerto Rico, and that's for another story. And seeing that. And seeing what was what goes on, but there are real discussions. But it's when you take away and you divert, and the ambiguity of different words and sayings that needs to be discussed. And this is something we want to do here, is to get that communication going, but also put it into action. And you speak a little bit about the 7th. I would be remiss if I didn't say. You came in, I want to say October of last year,
October
19.
3rd.
And the 3rd, right. So I mean, everything from the former mayor situation to takeover governments, that sort of thing, to pandemics, to the closings, to the openings, and not knowing what's going on. How do you feel as far as, you've been in council since you were 29 in some form as a councilman, and then prior to that. What is your growth spur in this thing? I mean, it's unprecedented what we're going through. How do you feel you have grown just in the last 9 months, let alone the last 12 years?
I mean, I've grown, tremendously, and I've been through a lot of adversity in my life, and my life experiences has prepared me for this moment. And some people look back and say, "Oh, well, you were on city council for 16 years." Listen, I accomplished a lot in the 2nd Ward. Look at the 2nd Ward today versus when I came there. All the housing improvements, improving people's living conditions, bringing in Mo Vaughn, a Major League Baseball All-Star, and redoing Carver Hall.
Red Sox.
And well, I'm a Phillies fan, but
Yeah, me
that's,
too.
that's another
Me too.
story. Yeah, so just some of the things we did, the completion of the meadows, putting people in, better conditions. And I've been a champion for affordable housing. And, now it's time to, attract people here that's going to put ratables on the tax base. And I look at what I've been through. It's been one crisis after another. But like I said, I've been through personal crisis. And that's why I'm able to deal with this, as is. I mean, I've been through a lot more than what we're going through now. And I also have the quote by the late, great Dr. Martin Luther King, which sums my life. And it's the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands at moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Anybody can govern and do things when the sun is shining. What happens when it's a storm? How are you going to handle that? And the good people of Atlantic City has, seen me do it time and time and time again. This isn't no election publicity stunt. This is the real me. This is who I am. And being a councilman versus being a mayor where you're fully in charge is a whole nother story. And that's the difference. I've had administrative experience. I've run organizations. I've been in charge of departments. So, my governing style, it seemed to cultivate City Hall. The culture in City Hall has changed dramatically. My directors are buying into my leadership style. And, we came in with a theme that we wanted to govern by. It's right above my door. It's an acronym-based theme called Let's Ace It. And these are the elements that we're going to govern with, which is leadership, expectations, transparency and stability, accountability, credibility, and excellence of execution. Because it does us no good to have all these robust plans and can't execute them. And we're executing them. And, people say, well, plan. my opponents say they have a plan, but where's the implementation? Go to Marty Small, the number 4mayor.com, and look under my plan. It's 41 pages. You were there when I gave that plan at the NBCA, and a lot of the things that we're saying is already done. Nobody thought that we would be able to get Trump Plaza torn down. But if you ride by there, you see the demolition company's banner. These things are happening. I not only talk the talk, I walk the walk, which is important. And what you see with me is what you get. I'm a straight shooter. I mean, it's not, and I'll often say this, I'm not going to have a conversation in the first ward, and then the conversation is different when I get to the sixth ward. This is just who I am. It's who I've always been. And I know that there's been a narrative out there about me, but it's nonsense. If people understood what was behind the stories of those, bad happenings, I mean, it's a non-issue. And I'm going to just say this. In order to work in the school system, you have to have a pristine background check. How have I made a career out of working in the school system? So everything that happened to me was nonsense. You know the old saying, a bad prosecutor can indict a ham sandwich. And I'll just leave that at that. But more importantly, a leader knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. And that's what I'm doing. And my leadership style, I don't walk around town, saying I'm Superman, I'm the mayor. Hey, look at me. I don't govern like that, because titles come and go, and I understand that. And I tell people, if I'm not successful when the general election results are certified in November, I go back to my full-time job. I've always had a full-time job in addition to being in government. So people can say I've been there for a while, but no, I had a career, And when you look at it, like I said, my governing style, there's a quote above my door, and it's by Simon Sinek, who's a British-American author, motivational speaking, organization consultant. And this is my leadership style, and it says, leadership is not about being in charge. It's about taking care of the people in your charge. Let me say that again for the people in the back so they can hear me. Leadership is not about being in charge. It's about taking care of the people in your charge. And that's the residents, taxpayers, businesses here in the great city of Atlantic City. And I take that, seriously every single day.
Mayor Small, we appreciate you coming out today on a busy day the way it is today. The one thing that I can say about my observations, and this is not an opinion, it's just an observation, you're out there. You answer all the questions, whether it's someone asking about the past, the future, the present, good or bad, your side. I mean, you are out there. And when you came into office right away, it was you tackled Atlantic Avenue. And to work with it, listen, it wasn't created in one day or 3 months or 9 months. It's been, a bunch of years. You're moving it forward. We appreciate you. We're going to end it right here, and hopefully you'll come back to join us again on Armchair Discussions. Maybe we can do a post 4th of July, what's going on, and post July 7th and see what happens there. And last word to you.
And listen, this is a serious election. My opponents, both one female, one male, they're not ready for a time like this. They don't have the experience. I'm the most experienced candidate. I'm the most qualified candidate, and I'm the most accomplished candidate. You can't just appear every 4 years in Atlantic City and say, show up, I want to be mayor. That's the leap year candidate. And the female says that she's worked in City Hall for 25 years, but has nothing of substance that she can point to that she's accomplished. So remember, Atlantic City, I have a plan. We've shown you in this short 9 months now. I would like an opportunity to serve you for the remaining year of Frank Gilliam's term. And then we'll come back, next year for the full 4-year term. I believe we worked hard. I'm never going to use a term like deserve. That's selfish. But you've seen my work. You've seen that when I'm given a chance, I've shown what I can do. And I just want you to know, Atlantic City, that a small plan makes a big difference, because it does. And this administration is what all of your hopes and dreams for the city are made of. And I'm urging you on Tuesday, and I know a lot of you voted before, but for those who didn't, on Tuesday, dream big, vote small. Thank you for your time.
And this here, folks, Triax 57 and the Atlantic City Media Group is not an endorsement. The mayor of Atlantic City is here, and you take the time to do what you like. Again, we thank you. Hope you guys join us and have a great 4th of July weekend. Take care. Live, work, play AC.